If I create a basket of all the reasons because of which students fail in the FRM Part 1 exam, this will be a very big basket. But the solution to all these problems is single and it is easy fix. In this session, we will discuss about all those problems and what are the solutions or what is the solution we can use to fix all those problems. I will provide you both the types of solutions. One is you can do it on your own solution, and second is what we are providing you as a solution. Right? So let's get started. So how the results are declared? So this is assume that these are the 100% students. Out of the 100% students, 35 to 40% will clear the exam, and we know 65 to 60% or 60 to 65% will not clear the exam. As per my analysis, around 15 to 20% students, or say now in 2021, 10 to 15% students will be among those who are not prepared for the exam, okay, who miss their preparation because of say office issues or family commitments and the personal issues, and they were not unable to prepare for the exam and then showed up for the exam. So only 10 to 15% are those students. Rest of the students are well prepared, and out of these 35 to 40% will be able to clear the exam and remaining will not be able to clear the exam. So there are few problems because of which students fail in the exam. I'm talking about the students who are very well prepared, or at least like from the students perspective they are prepared. So what are these problems? So these are the common reasons for the students failure. The first reason is underprepared for the exam, which is applicable for, as we discussed, 10 to 15% of the students. So 10 to 15% students are not well prepared for the exam. They are, as we discussed, there are different types of problems, office commitments, personal issues, and family commitments, right? So these problems are unavoidable. You cannot handle it, right? You cannot solve these problems like as long as you are very committed and you are ready to give up everything for the exam. It is impossible to solve. Now in the same strata, in the same section, we have underprepared students because of two reasons: lack of motivation or confusion related to the exam. Okay, so some students will not be able to prepare because of office and personal reasons. Some students will not be able to prepare properly because of lack of motivation for the exam. So this is the first problem. Second is the unknown exam. Unknown exam means majority of the section who students who prepare for the exam, they don't know what is going to happen in the exam, what type of questions to expect in the exam, uh, what type of confusions, what type of problems they will face in the exam. That is the unknown exam. This is the second problem, which is a very big problem and affects most of the students. Then failure to fix the common mistakes. Now every student have their own problems. Own problems as in they commit one or two types of mistake, or say three types of mistakes in general when they are solving the questions, and they are unable to fix those mistakes because they are unable to identify those mistakes. How to identify those mistakes? There is a process to it. You have to identify the common mistakes, and based on this you can easily understand it. I'll give you very simple example. So generally this is my observation based on the mock test we conduct on, like, for every exam. So say interest rate is given for annum, as usual in every exam it will be provided for the per annum, and say it is 10%, and the question asks for say semi-annual, right? So your job was to simply divide it by 2 and then go ahead for that particular question. But some students have this particular problem. They, in that excitement or in that rush to solve that question, they forget to divide it by 2 and then they start to solve the question, and obviously you will get the wrong answer. GAP knows this problem, and what GAP will do is GAP will provide you answer for 10% as well, and the correct answer is say C. But if you use say 10%, which is the annual rate, you will get the answer. You will tick the answer A because your calculator's answer is matching with the options, and you will end up assuming that your answer is correct. But you made a mistake here. You, as in the general students, made a mistake. Student made a mistake here. Okay, so these are the type of common mistake. One more type of common mistake is making mistake in the least likely question. Okay, so there is a paragraph, then the question ends with which of the following options is least likely. Okay, now this is least likely. So in the rush, in the exam pressure, students read this as likely. They see, say, four options, A, B, C, D, and then they tick, say, one option. They find it as very likely that this is the most possible. But the question was least likely. Okay. This is also a very common mistake which students commit in the exam. Then the fourth problem is the fear of exam. Fear of exam is because of our definitely the unknownness of the exam. But we know that for every exam, students are afraid to show up for the exam. This problem is because of the human tendency. We are always afraid of seeing our performance. Okay, you take any example, start from the school to end from the postgraduate PGs and the graduate exams or the professional exams. Every time we have seen the students are afraid of the exam. But if this fear is very high, it will affect very adversely. The next problem is failure to identify the key testing area. So what is the key testing area? Remember, you have 100% syllabus. Out of this syllabus, 30% syllabus is highly testable. Remaining 70% is normal. Okay. That is, you might get the question or say with a 50 or 40% probability. But there is 30% area out of which you have probability of like say 80% of getting question in the exam. So you have to identify this key area and you have to focus more on this key area. What happens? You are unable to identify the key area. If you are unable to identify it, you will focus on everything. So you will have distracted focus, right? Scattered focus. So obviously you will not be able to encash the key area in exam properly. If you you just focus on the wrong area, of course, it is going to create a problem, right? So you must identify the key area to perform better in the exam. So failure to identify the key area, and then lack of the conceptual clarity from the exam perspective. So conceptual clarity has two variations according to me. So conceptual clarity as in the general conceptual clarity. So you know the concept, you understand the concept, you are good with the calculations and everything. This is the normal conceptual clarity. Second is the conceptual clarity from the exam perspective. So every exam has its own pattern of testing, right? So I will give you example of CAs in India. So a lot of CAs appear for the FRM exam. And general problem is they are good with the section which is in the FMP, financial markets and the products, which relates to derivatives, futures and options. Because in CA we have subject called SFM. In SFM you have substantial section which relates to the derivatives. Okay, so this derivatives area is directly related with the FNOs in the in our FMP subject, and VRM subject where we have the binomial Greeks and the BSM pricing. So CA students are good with this area. So generally what happens, because they are good with this area, they ignore area in the FRM curriculum. Okay. So see here, they have the conceptual clarity. The CAs have the conceptual clarity of the section, but testing pattern is very different in FRM exam on the same area compared to the CA exams. So you need to have the conceptual clarity from the exam perspective. Having a conceptual clarity in general is okay, but you have to build a perspective for the exam. This is one more problem. Same happens with the CFA students, those who are CFA level 1 cleared. So they have more or less similar syllabus for their CFA level 1 and FRM part 1. The problem with the CFA level 1 and FRM part 1 is FRM part 1 is slightly difficult, or say more difficult compared to the CFA level 1. Okay. So you have to understand the difficulty. Knowing the concept will not be sufficient. You have to build your perspective from the exam. And then poor planning and strategy for the exam. So what is poor planning strategy? Most of the students don't have any strategy for the exam. That is how to appear for the exam, how to tackle the exam in those 4 hours. This is a very big problem. So you have to make sure you have the proper planning, proper strategy for the exam, as well as for the preparation, as well as for the books you are choosing, question banks you are choosing, and everything comes under the planning and strategy. You have to strategize and plan your exam. If you do this, automatically your performance will be substantially better compared to the normal student. So what is the cost of failure? If you fail to address these problems, what is the cost of failure? The first is the same pain for 6 more months, because you're not going to give up the exam if you fail. Say you as in a student fails for the first time, right? he will show up for the second time. And preparing for the second time the same syllabus is very painful, and waiting for the same exam, doing the same thing again and again, it is right, the painful thing. So it is very big cost, then lost opportunity. Student will, if some student fails in the exam, automatically what is the problem, he will clear exam, he will clear FRM certification 6 months later. That will be the lost opportunity, which is very big problem. Then now the exam fees is very high, which is $550. So failing in exam should not be an option for you. You have to make sure somehow or anyhow you clear this exam. Okay. And the mental stress of failure, this is very big problem in FRM curriculum, right? Because majority of the students who are showing up for the FRM exam or coming to the FRM curriculum are those students who never failed in their like their past, right? So in any exam, because say if you are coming from the engineering background, generally you pass in the engineering background, right? So or say general any other background, most of the students clear their exam. But in FRM exam, we already know that irrespective of what happens, only 35 to 40% will clear the exam and 60% will fail. Okay, they have to see the failure. And if you compare the FRM part 1 and FRM part 2, the total percentage is 20% passing and 80% failing. That is the total, the conditional probability, right? Now see here, total probability. So total probability passing is 20% and then 80%. So this is a very big problem. It will create a mental stress seeing the failure. So you have to make sure you pass the exams in the first attempt itself. Okay. Now what is the solution which I think is the most suitable? It is the test, test, test. You have to test your knowledge or your performance on every step. So this will require only 20 hours of extra efforts. You don't have to put 100 or 200 hours of extra effort. You don't have to use like 1000 and 2000 questions more to practice more. It only requires 20 hours of extra effort, which is 2 hours of full mocks and 12 hours of section test. Now I'm not talking about only mocks which I'm going to provide you. I will tell you the both the ideas or options. How can you build your own mock and what are the solutions we are offering? But at the end, it is the total effort is of 20 hours. If the 20 hours can change this particular part completely, then you must at least consider it once, right? Now, this is not unique concept. Okay, the testing for the exam, that is a mock test for the exam, is not the unique concept. In every exam, for every exam in the world, there are the concepts like the mock test. In FRM part 1, there is a lack of focus on the mock testing. So students don't appear for the mock test, they don't show up for the mock test. In majority of the cases, 80% students appear for or solve the mock test, just say 10, 15 days or 20 days before the mock, before the exam. Now what is the problem of this? The problem with this, now even if you appear for a mock 20 days before the exam, problem is how to identify your problem. Even if you are able to identify problem, because you are appearing for the mock just 20 days before, you don't have enough time to correct your problems. That is, it is kind of your mock test, like solving your mock test is just a practice of sitting for 4 hours solving questions like this. That's it. That's the mock test in general, whatever we are doing in the FRM exam. In other exams, students appear for the mock test, but definitely in every exam, the problem is the mock test. Mock test as in, even if like say 100% students are preparing, only 20% appear for the mock test. And these 20% score substantially high in the exam. Same is applicable for the FRM. I have seen in the past, the students who appeared for the mock test, I got around 90% result for them. Okay, so it was like we conducted mock test in say November 2019 or May 2019, and even in for say October exam, where when the exam was conducted outside India, so there was a mock test, and in October exam, we got the 100% result. So at that time I realized that we need to focus more on the mock test, and if somehow students appear for the mock test, then it will increase their performance and automatically you will have the substantially higher chances of passing in the exam. Now how to test? So first is the self-testing. You can do it on your own and you will need one study partner for this. Of course you have study partner, I guess, and you have to just make sure that study partner is good enough, because if you end up with the wrong type of study partner, he will take your performance down automatically. So make sure you are not just giving in to the study partner, you are also able to take something from him. Take as in, so sometimes you are able to explain him the concepts and sometimes he is explaining you the concept. Those type of study partners are good. If you get a study partner who only asks you the question and like dominates you and all, automatically you will get harassed and your performance will be down. So make sure you get a good study partner. And with that good study partner, what you can do is ask him to set test for you and you set for him. Okay. Make sure whenever you are setting these tests, you have one particular question bank which you are using for the practice. Your test bank should be separate and not the same. Okay, you don't have, if you take the same same question bank which you are using for the practice and try to test yourself, it will not give you the accurate results will be inaccurate. And then evaluate the score and guide each other how to do and what to do and everything, so you can do it in better manner. This is one type of testing, self testing. Now, second type of testing is Falcon section test. This test were there for 2020. Now we are releasing this test for the, and only for the students. Now we are releasing this test for the general students, that is the students who are not the Falcon students, those who are not taking the classes from the Falcon. So you can enroll for these tests. Tests will be available in both the options, free and the paid. Free test schedule is not declared right now. So depending on the time I get, I will declare it. Paid tests are available to appear. You can start appearing for those tests. First test will be on the first week of Feb. Okay. Now the second option gives you, like, we will set the test for you. Then system will evaluate the performance. We have system built for this. It will evaluate your performance. It will show you in which quartile you are fitting in, and like that you will be able to know the average score and the average score of the peers and the passing score. Passing score is what I will set. I will set based on the question. So if I know that there are, say, 5 easy questions and say 5 difficult questions and say 5 very difficult questions, so passing should be like, at least you should be able to get all the 5 easy questions and at least 80% of this difficult question. So based on this, your passing percentage will be set. Then you have average score of the peers. Peers as in the students who are appearing for the mock test with you at the same time. So you will be able to see their average performance. Now your job is to simply check your performance is better than them or below them. Okay, if your performance is better than them, really good. If your performance is below them, then you have to make sure that you are properly solving all those issues because of which performance is getting down. Then test is based on the recent exam pattern. So we are taking exam up to 16th Jan. Okay, the exam 16th Jan 2020 exam, and October, and to an extent November. Okay, October 2020 and November 20. Sorry, 16th Jan 2021. 16th Jan 2021. Based on this, the pattern will be decided, and we will provide you the guidance on, faculties as in me and my team will provide you the guidance on where to fix the mistakes, what are the mistakes you are committing, what to do to solve or fix all those mistakes. Everything will be guided. Okay. Now, advantages of testing. Now we are talking about the general testing. You do it on your own or we do it for you. In both the modes, there are advantages. Advantages of testing are, first is it prepares your subconscious mind for the exam. As we discussed, what is the problem with appearing for mock test? Why students don't appear for the mock test? The single problem is we as a human are afraid of seeing our performance. There is something called wishful beliefs. Okay, so this means that we assume something so that we are comfortable with it. Okay, so we assume something good about us or our performance or our knowledge or like that, so that we feel good. And when it comes to testing your performance, it creates a fear of what will be our performance, what if it is bad, what if it is not up to the mark. But remember this, if you appear for the test, force yourself on the test, then automatically after say 6-7 tests, your fear will be gone and automatically it will reduce your fear of exam. And also we will make sure, it is my duty to make sure your test is equivalent to your GARP exam. Okay, and general complaint from the student is about the test which I am setting is it is relatively difficult compared to the GARP exam. So we will make sure it is toned down a bit. It is not very difficult, it is just relatively slightly difficult. We will try to tone down a bit and we'll make sure it is equivalent to your GARP exam. Then you will be able to know your exam in advance. The biggest problem is we don't know what will happen in the exam. So if you appear for the tests, both the test, you will be able to know what are the exam, what type of exam will be there, what type of questions to expect, what type of mistakes I'm making. All these problems will be addressed here. Then know your common mistakes, biggest advantage. As we discussed, a student commits 2 or 3 types of mistake. So every student will commit different mistakes, but there is a category of mistakes. So if the student is able to manage these mistakes or solve these mistakes in advance, automatically what will happen? He will not make these mistakes in the exam, and it will improve your performance substantially. The major problem with the well prepared students is they commit common mistakes. Now next is the change in the preparation trajectory. This is the most important point. Okay, what happens? So I will talk about this particular point is about the test which we are setting. Okay, the Falcon's test. So let's say set 1 and set 2. Set 1 is for the quants. Set 2 is for the FMP. Okay. So to appear for the test, you have to use your own book. If you are doing say self-study, you have to prepare from your own question bank and everything. You have to use your own material. Now you will appear for say set 1. When you appear for the set 1, what happens after seeing that test, you will be able to know what type of questions to expect from the GAP in the exam. Once you know this, when you move forward in your preparation, your complete trajectory will change. The preparation trajectory will change, meaning you will focus on those points which are important for the exam, because now from your past experience, you know these type of exams or these type of points are tested in the exam. And because of that experience, automatically your focus will go to all those points which are important. It is auto improvement. You don't have to specifically, you don't have to focus on it, you will automatically do it. Okay, so and what happens is in the quants, uh, generally the question pattern is similar for all the quants questions, right? So if you are committing some type of mistakes in say set 1, and if you are able to fix it and identify your mistakes, automatically you will cover up all those mistakes in remaining section. Same will happen with the FMP. In the first test of FMP, your complete FMP will be improved, and 3 topics of VRM, which are again related to the FMP. Okay, these topics are binomial, BSM, and the Greeks. So you will be able to cover up these topics because students commit similar type of mistakes in all the futures and options questions. So if you are able to fix it in the first instance, automatically your trajectory will change, your preparation style will change, and you will observe it. Okay, just observe how you prepared for the set 1, and you will observe, like, you will automatically understand how you are preparing for the set 2. This is about set 2 as in the second part of the quants. So this is the preparation trajectory changes. It is very big advantage. You can only understand it if you are doing it actually. Okay, instead of preparing full syllabus without knowing actual exam, it is better to prepare syllabus after knowing exam, right? Then you will be able to know your problem area. This is again one more big advantage. Now here you have 4 subjects. Okay, so this is your first subject, second subject, third subject, fourth subject, and then you have sections for individual subjects, say A, B, C, and every subject will have same section. So we will call it as A1, A2, A3, A4, and say C1, C2, and so on. Right, now focus here. Say you scored really good in this test, this set, and this set. Okay, you are performing bad in this set. Then you scored here good, and then you perform bad here, and you scored bad here, and you are good with this set. How you will be able to understand it? Because we have average score, we have what? Passing score. If you score above compared to both. So you have to understand that you are good from the exam perspective, you are good in these areas. Okay, now you know you are not good with these areas, so automatically you have the weak area and weak area for yourself, and based on that you can decide your preparation strategy, that you have to focus on these three sections, and you have to you have to just make sure that you are consistent with the remaining section as in the remaining area, right? Now next is, this is about the section test. This will happen after you appear for the section test. Then we have the first mock. First mock is subject wise. In subject wise mock, what happens? You will appear for individual subject. It is full exam level test, but divided in the subject. First you will appear for say subject 2, subject 3, subject 4, subject 1. So why these are divided in the subject wise? So major problem as per my observation is students don't appear for the mock test because they are not fully prepared. But you are prepared for at least two subjects, so appear for two mocks. Then whenever you are prepared for book 4, appear for this book 4 mock. Whenever you are prepared for the book 1, appear for the book 1 mock. So that's why we divided this particular part, the whole test, the whole first mock test, in the four parts, four subject wise parts. Now what happens? Say you scored first quartile in the book 1, first quartile in the book 3, say third quartile in the book 2, and say second quartile in the book 4. Now you have the clear idea that this is your problem. Okay, if you compare this with the full mock, if you just appear for say 100 questions mock and say you scored 56, now what is the conclusion of this? What is the problem? How you will be able to identify the problem if you just see the full score? You need to see it in the step by step. So that's why first we will see the section wise test. You will identify your weak sections, then you will appear for the subject wise test. You will be able to identify the section wise performance, or sorry, subject wise performance, like what is your weak area. And now you know that you have to just focus on the subject. Okay, this subject you are very well prepared for the remaining, and you are not prepared for say book 2, so you have to focus on that. One more thing, it is very highly unlikely that if your performance, say score in say quants in mock is say 12, it is highly unlikely that in actual exam you will score less than 12. It is highly unlikely. There is big chance that you will always score more than this, right? Why? Because this is about, say, there are two aspects to it. One, I said test difficult. Okay, so if you are able to score 12, automatically your score should be substantially higher in the real exam. Also, second is mock test, you appear in an environment where you are not very serious. Second, you are appearing for the mock test 1 month before the exam. So automatically when you see your score is 12, you will be able to identify your problem area. And after this, automatically your area or performance will improve. So you have 1 month to fix all your problems. You'll fix those problems, and because of this, your score will be higher. Next, so this is one template. Okay, how exam will be conducted. So this is for the section wise test. Mock test is conducted in this different format. Okay, so here you have your test. Then you have timer here. This is a timer. It will depend on the question. Say 10 questions. So first, for the section test, we will allow you extra time. So ideally you have say 2.8, I guess, if I'm not wrong, 2.8 minutes, 2.8 minutes for one question in actual exam. So here we will allow you 4 minutes for one question. Because you are appearing for the first time, you will take slightly more time. But when you start your full mocks as in mock round 1, which is subject wise, and mock round 2, which is single mock, so in those you will have the exact same time. So that is, it will be divided according to the exam proportion. So whatever time you get in the exam to solve those questions, same time will be provided to you. Then test coverage, how we will like what type of questions will be covered in the test. 30% easy questions, 70% medium to very difficult. Okay, This is normal setting of your exam. In exam also you will have 30% easy and 70% medium to difficult. In previous test, I used to keep this to near to zero, like maximum one or two easy questions, and most of the questions were medium to high difficulty. Now, to match your exam level, I will increase these easy questions. And 80% of the test will be on the core area. In exam, you will get majority questions from the core area, right? And 20% from the corners. Corners as in the area which is not very important, but sometimes GAT might ask question on that area, like this. So this will be the test coverage. And then this is the content what you are getting in the test, like this section test if you enroll for it. So 10 subject 10 section wise test, two full mock test, one subject wise, two full mock. As I told you, like we got really good result in say November 19 and even October 20 exam. So just based on these two full mock tests, we got really good results. Okay, so now just imagine the 10 section test plus two full mock test. Okay, so for mock test pattern is the same, section test pattern is different. Then we'll provide you fast track notes for first 50 students, because there's limitation from my side and my team side. For first 50 students, we will provide you personal guidance, 15 minutes, two sessions. That is, I will give you the ideal scenario. Appear for section wise test 1, section wise test 2, take a guidance. We will see your test, we will identify your problem area, and based on this, you will change your preparation. And then you will appear for the mock test 1. That is, say 1 month before exam, you will appear for the mock test 1. At that time, you can take again one like counseling session. Okay, in that counseling session we will guide you like what is your performance, what is your problem area again, and how to fix those problems. Okay, we will guide you on this. Then next is mind maps. It will be available in the April first week. It is only applicable for the important area. Okay, and then optional 600 concept builders. If you want, you can separately get it. Now, how to enroll? First of all, if you are Falcon student, registered in November 2019 for the say first time, and registered for the 2019 as in for the exam or later, either fast track, prime or repeaters, any package. You don't have to enroll for it. Just tell us, we will freely enroll you in this test. And next, if you are not in the first category, just check the description of this video. I'll also show you how you can appear for it or how you can enroll it. Okay, so here we have our portal. This is our these are your tests. Show you, see here. Okay, and for mock test, it is separate section. It is categorized in the different area. So you have to just start this test. I will not show you the question. Okay, because if you see the question, like just see half question, don't see the options. Then you have this question, and see you have in this test we have 10 questions, and in your test I will increase questions. So these are the tests we conducted for 2020 session. For 2021 there will be some changes. Here you can see the timer is going on. You have to finish your test in this time, as in 40 minutes, because I opened it before. Now it is 34. So once the time is over, it will automatically submit the test. Okay, now yeah, this is like, okay, so there is no internet, sorry for that. Yeah, after this you have like this portal is OLIB, online libraries OLIB. Just see here, olib.falconedufin.com. I will provide you the link in the description. So here you can enroll for the test. So this is your test. Every test provides its timer. So when this test will open, like say first is not going to open on the 4th Feb. It is going to open on the first Sunday of the Feb month. Okay, first Saturday on the Feb month. So then we have 12th, 28th and so on. Based on the topic coverage, the time is decided. And this is applicable for May students. For July students, I will provide you different schedule. Okay. Now, if you want, apart from the doubt solving or the counseling session, if you have any doubts, how to ask those doubts. So we built this website like a Facebook, like a social networking website. So you can ask me directly doubts. Here, say you have the private message section. From this, you can directly message me. Okay. So I have received this particular message from student, and you have to, like, right now I don't have internet, otherwise I would have showed you how it works. So we can set it aside, like, not a big problem. And this is your section test. Okay. So it is available in this shop section. You can enroll from here. Okay, so that's all about the section test. And my recommendation is, irrespective of you enroll for the test or you do it on your own, please appear for the test. Please show up for the test. It is totally like it will take you into the different league compared to the normal student. Your chances of passing exam will be substantially higher. What impacts your result is test. Test, correct your problem, then test, again identify, correct your problem, and like this. Okay, so this will improve your performance. So that's all about the section wise test. See you in the next video.